Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Check out the live stream, the Dr. Glidden Show. .tv, the DRGLIDDEN show.tv. What is the physician's duty? Inquiring minds want to know. Is it the physician's duty to deliver man-made synthetic pharmaceutical drugs for a profit into a complex biochemical system, the intention of which is to suppress and manage and upregulate and manipulate the biochemistry of the body? Is this the physician's duty? Is it the physician's duty to cause harm? Is it the physician's duty to suppress the active symptomatic processes going on inside a body which has found itself inside a state of disease? Well, if you're an MD, then yes, that's your job. Your job also is to cut away any diseased tissue and to replace that diseased tissue with synthetic material. Just like on Star Trek, half man, half woman, half machine, the rise of the Borg. Well, it's interesting to note that when certain faction of society becomes monopolized, a certain area of society becomes monopolized by a certain faction, then everything goes to hell in a handbasket. And that's exactly what's happened here. My biggest beef with the MDs, or my biggest concern here, and the epitaph on my headstone eventually when I finally die at 225 years of age, I would like to be Dr. Glidden did his very best to educate people about how MDs think and how holistic physicians think, because this is the biggest problem. Every system of medicine is informed by a philosophical ideation. Every system of medicine has at its very basis, its very foundation, of philosophy. And today on Metaphysical Thursday, it's important that we talk about this philosophy, because philosophy is inside of the metaphysical zone, right? It's a member of the aspect of the world, stuff that we can't quantify, stuff that we can't qualify. It's a construct. It's an intellectual construct that we can't codify, measure, or in any way identify as separate and distinct, much like love. If you've ever told somebody that you love them, then you're a practicing metaphysician. You believe in metaphysics. If you believe in God, you believe in metaphysics. So the philosophy that physicians are trained in is extremely important to understand when we are attempting to determine on our own, for ourselves, which system of medicine we should use, right? I mean, because it's good to know this stuff before the fact, because when you're sick, when you're suffering, you are up against it. You're in pain, you're in a fear mode, and you need to know where to go, right? You need to prepare, right? You need to have an escape route planned. You need to know which direction to go before the tornado hits, not while the tornado is approaching. Are you going to attempt to figure it out? So because of the monopolization of the medical market by the faction, the pharmaceutical faction, people here in the United States, people here in North America, people all around the world, the European Union, South America, it's no different. Any industrialized nation, we've all been fed the cultural myth that the MD is the king, and you really just don't need to question anything other than that. Just stop right there, and just when you're sick, go to see the MD, because the MD knows what's best for you. And this is the biggest mistake we make. Such a gigantic mistake that 780,000 people a year are killed because of this mistake. And yet, because the MDs monopolize the marketplace, nothing happens, nothing changes, nobody goes to jail, there are no financial, political, or legal consequences. None. Well, maybe the pharmaceutical company gives up a couple of $1 million, or maybe at very best $1 billion in damages, but nobody goes to jail. There are no individual consequences for individual human beings, by and large. The philosophy that MDs are trained in is referred to as allopathic reductionism. Allopathic reductionism. The philosophy that I'm trained in is referred to as naturopathic holism. And basically, you can reduce medical philosophies into two separate and distinct camps. There are the reductionists and the holists. The only reductionists that practice medicine anywhere in the world in the 21st century are the MDs. Every other medical practitioner anywhere in the world practices holism. Holism argues that the body is a complex system of interrelated parts inhabited by a soul, a spiritual force, some type of unmeasurable energy. And that soul force, that spiritual force, brings intelligence into the physical dynamo of the human body. And it is the intelligence residing inside your body by virtue of your spiritual essence, which dictates every single solitary thing which happens inside the body all of the time. The holistic foundation philosophy, your body has wisdom. Your body knows how to fix itself. Your body is so smart, right? It was able to grow itself all by itself from a single-celled organism into you. There are millions, if not billions, of biochemical processes which are happening every second of every day, which are completely outside of your conscious awareness or control. What's governing all of this stuff? Saw a fascinating documentary the other day on National Geographic about ants. They took leafcutter ant colony from someplace in South America, and they transported it to a lab, and they set up this elaborate system of, they set up this elaborate ant house. And then they filmed it to be able to see what the ants do, and it is unbelievably complex, unbelievably organized, and quite frankly, blows your mind. I mean, in the ant colonies in the wild, there's hundreds of different chambers that the ants build. And they have ventilation tubes to off-gas the carbon dioxide so they don't all die. They have special rooms where they carry the dead. They have special rooms where they store the food. And they have ventilation shafts. And all of this is happening all of the time with millions of ants. Millions of ants, all dancing to the same tune. All completely in sync and in step. And, medical science can't explain this. The science can't explain this. How on earth does this happen? Well, the reductionists look at all of this, and because according to reductionism, if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. So there's no such thing as God. There's no such thing as a spiritual force. There's no such thing as prana. There's no such thing as chi. There's no such thing as a vital force which inhabits the physical body of an animal or a man. It's all just chemicals. Chemicals and, biochemistry. That's all that it is. It's all consciousness itself. To the reductionist is a function of biochemistry. And according to them, when your body dies, your consciousness, it's all over. It's lights out. You do not exist as a separate and distinct entity. And this is just insanity at its very heart. It's insanity at its very heart. So when you look at an ant colony, all right, there's no verbal communications, by the way, no verbal communications. How on earth are the ants able to organize themselves to get all of this stuff done, to know what to do, to know to build ventilation chambers, to know that you need to remove the dead bodies, to know that you need to put this food source over here and this food source over here so that they don't cross-contaminate each other? How on earth do these animals know how to do this? Well, the reductionists can't explain it, and they kind of slough it off and say, well, that's just the mystery of nature. That's just instinct. Well, you're a metaphysician if you believe in instinct. I believe in instinct. From the spiritual point of view, from the metaphysical point of view, the animal kingdom is imbued with the same spiritual force that your human body is. There is a difference, however, in the amount of it and in the qualification of it. There's a difference perhaps between the soul and between instinct. However, this is not my area of expertise. I've been trying for a long time to get different religious scholars on here in order to talk about their different philosophical orientations. It's a very difficult thing to do. A lot of people just don't want to do it. A lot of people don't want to stand up in the public forum and talk about, the Catholic point of view, the Buddhist point of view. We got one person, Marshall Govindan, also known as Satchidananda, who's a practicing yogi for 30 years now. We had him on the program a number of years ago. He espouses the Siddhanta point of view. But my point here is that this is not my area of expertise to be able to make these distinctions, right? The difference between a soul and a spirit and instinct and intellect, right? But the point is, you must have some type of idea of what's going on. I mean, when you look at a simple ant colony and you see the complexity of the work that's happening there and the unbelievable sophistication of what this little tiny animal with hardly, I don't even know if they have brains, for goodness sake, but they're able to do it. How on earth are they able to do it? Medical science has no answer for that. And yet, it exists in front of our face. Don't you think it would be important to answer this? Don't you think it would be important at least to have some type of take a stab at it somehow? Well, holistic physicians have recognized these phenomena, right? I always get the phenomenon backwards. These natural phenomena all for, thousands of years. And holistic medical philosophy attempts to understand, at least it takes into consideration, that these natural phenomena exist and that we attempt to draw lines around them to circumscribe our awareness about what's really going on. This is an important point to ponder, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around. I've got much more to say about this when we come back. I'm Dr. Glidden. And guess what? This is Fire Your MD Now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. So we need to figure this out, right? We need to have a working understanding of this because it's important. And, whether you believe in philosophy or not, you believe in philosophy because philosophy, everything has a philosophy. Republicans have a philosophy. The Democrats have a philosophy. There are economic philosophies. There's, everything has a philosophy, a foundation set of principles upon which their entire smorgasbord of ideas is based. It's no different with medicine. Well, the MDs, espousing a reductionistic methodology, are of the opinion that the human body is a coincidental biochemical bag of, nothingness. And consciousness is a function of biochemistry. And when you're sick, it's your biochemical bag is just breaking down, and your only option is to let the MD intervene with their biochemistry. Synthetic, man-made, biochemical, the intention of which is not to fix your problem, but to suppress and manage your symptoms. And this is why you need to fire your medical doctor. Because their therapeutics are juvenile, they're old-fashioned, they're outdated, they're dangerous, and they are completely out of step with what really is happening inside your body-mind. All right, so look at it this way. And by the way, if you ever want to see a medical doctor's head explode, get them to ask them what their definition of health is. Try to see if they can define health for you. You think that a physician would be able to define health, but they can't do it. They can't do it. So, our definition of health is the ability of a living organism to experience stress and remain symptom-free in a state of dynamic equipoise. Now, what the hell does that mean? Well, here's what that means. When your body is in a state of health, everything is working the way that nature intended it to, and everything functions perfectly, and you don't feel anything, right? When the shoe fits, you don't feel it. So your heart's good, your lungs are good, your skin's good, your digestion's good, your concentration's good, everything's good, right? Everything is in its place, functioning the way that nature and God intended it to. All right, now we walk down the road of life and we experience stress, of which there are multitudes, right? Life is a great big bowl of stress. Financial stress, political stress, weather, aging, crap in the air, crap in the food, crap in the water, viruses, bacteria, right? All this stuff all of the time, right? Stress, baby. So we walk down the road and we experience stress. There are only two outcomes when stress impacts the human body. Outcome number one, the stress hits the body defends against the stress bounces off, and nothing happens to the equilibrium of the body. The body remains symptom-free in a state of active, balanced health. Option number two, the stress is stronger than the defenses of the body. The stress makes it through the defenses of the body and impacts the system. Now, when a stress impacts the system becomes destabilized. And when the system becomes destabilized, it punches out a symptom in order to maintain its equilibrium and balance, right? If I snuck up behind you and tried to push you over, automatically your body would try to adjust and maintain its balance so that you wouldn't fall over, right? Well, your body does the same thing. So your body experiences a stress. The stress overpowers your defenses. The body is destabilized and pushes out a symptom, or two or three. So you have asthma, okay? So you develop an asthmatic presentation of symptoms. Your airways become constricted, and it's hard for you to breathe out. Okay for you to breathe in, but it's hard to breathe out. Okay, this is an active symptom that your body is expressing. Now, what does the MD do? The MD, who knows nothing about the relationship between your body and stress and its presentation of symptoms. Your MD has no understanding about this process whatsoever. All that your MD knows is, hey, you're having trouble breathing and it's because your airway is constricted. So what does the MD do? Into a complex, sophisticated, living biological system, they deliver a synthetic drug, the intention of which is not to fix the problem, but to suppress the symptom. So they'll give an inhaler, a bronchodilator, and the symptom goes away while the drug is acting in the body. Now, has the inhaler reestablished balance in the system? No. The inhaler has suppressed the symptom. And then the drug wears off and the symptom comes back. You need it again. The drug wears off. The symptom comes back. You need it again. The drug wears off. The symptom comes back. And after a while, the drug stops working. You need another drug or a different drug, or it needs to be increased in potency, right? Stay with this thought. I'm going to finish it up when we come back and get right to the phones. This is Metaphysical Thursday. I'm going to take license here today. You need to understand this. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Stick around. Chat room's heating it up today, folks. Check it out. When you watch the live video stream, you're also entered into a chat room right now. We've got folks from Canada. We've got folks from Australia. We've got folks from the United States. Portugal's in the house, all over the U.S. Man, it's really great. Jim from the United Kingdom is here. So, this is a worldwide phenomenon, and it's a ton of fun because while I'm doing my shtick on the radio, the chat room attendees are talking amongst themselves, and it's great. TheDrGliddenshow.tv. Check it out, TheDrGliddenshow.tv. Okay, so here we are. We need to finish up this understanding, right? I'm going to take a little license here. And then Jay from Wyoming is up. I hope to get to Jay before the end of this segment. All right? So, when your system is healthy, from the holistic point of view, it is described as being in a state of a dynamic equilibrium. A symptom-free state of dynamic equilibrium, okay? So you experience a stress, it's greater than the system can handle. The stress destabilizes the body, and the body compensates and generates a symptom. And then the MDs march into this complex, sophisticated system, and they suppress the symptom with a drug. And then, the drug wears off, the symptom comes back, they do it again, the drug wears off, the symptom comes back. And after a while, this drug stops working. Why? Because the drug works by virtue of using vitamins and minerals and amino acids and essential fatty acids in the body. So the longer you take a drug, the more deficient in these nutrients you become. It was a deficiency in these nutrients most often that caused the illness in the first place. So the longer you take the drug, actually the unhealthier you will make the system, and this is why the drugs stop working after a fashion and why they need to be increased, or a second or a third drug needs to be added just to get the same type of a response, right? But more to the point, remember, the action of the drug here is not curative, because your MD, trained in the reductionistic philosophy, is not concerned about how to cure your illness. Nor are they even able to define what cure is. They can't. They have no idea what it is, right? They can say it's the absence of symptoms, but winter is the absence of summer, but it's a whole lot more than that, isn't it? So, in any event, you've got symptoms, you're in a state of imbalance, dis-ease, you have a symptom, and the MD is frantically suppressing the symptom and, running around like a chicken without its head trying to figure out how to do this. Now, eventually, what will happen in this situation is, under the influence of drug after drug after drug after drug, your body becomes unable to generate this symptom anymore. Remember, the body was generating the symptom in order to maintain its equilibrium and balance. This is this is a non-intuitive thing to understand, but the symptom that your body is generating, whatever it is, the difficulty breathing, the headache, the skin rash, whatever the symptom is your body's attempt to handle the destabilization from the stress. Your body generates a symptom to compensate. It's a compensating thing that your body is doing of its own free will, okay? So, the MDs suppress the symptom over and over and over again. Pretty soon your body gets flagged out and it can't generate that symptom anymore, so the asthma in this case would magically disappear. So after 6 months of inhalers or 3 years of inhalers, the little child grows out of the asthma, so to speak, right? No longer any asthma, and the MDs pat themselves on their back. Oh, good job, boys. We saved this kid's life. No more asthma. Well, the child didn't grow out of it. The body moved, right? The body has hierarchies. The body has levels of defense, like those old-fashioned castles back in, the 8th century. You have the castle keep, and then you have a wall inside or in the courtyard, and then there's a wall outside of that, and then there's a moat, and then there's another wall, and then there's another moat, and then there's a drawbridge, right? These different levels of defenses. Well, your body also has different levels of defenses that it attempts to generate symptoms on when it's in the state of imbalance. So, initially, the body was destabilized, generated an asthmatic symptom, which the MDs completely suppressed into submission. So now what happens? The body falls further off balance. It has to. It must fall further off balance and generate a symptom somewhere else. So, a couple months after the asthma disappears, the child gets chronic migraine headaches. Or whatever. The child gets chronic bronchitis. The child gets bladder infections. Over and over again, the child gets really painful arthritic knees. Some symptom somewhere else must manifest. It must. Because the imbalance has not been dealt with. It's the only thing that the MDs did was suppress symptoms. And when you suppress a symptom, the energetic expression of the imbalance must come out somewhere else. It has to. It has to come out somewhere else. It's a law of nature. And so, the child goes from asthma to migraine headaches to arthritis to congestive heart failure, and then they die, right, over the course of their life. Illness after illness, chronic illness after chronic illness, strong and persistent symptoms after strong and persistent symptoms, all because the MD screwed it up. How did the MD screw it up? because the MD had no notion whatsoever about the dynamic equilibrium present inside the body and the sophisticated defense forces that the human body brings to bear on itself in the face of the stress of life. The MD is clueless about this. And this is why they're so dangerous. And, it doesn't really matter if you understand any of the stuff that I'm talking about as far as the details go. But MD therapeutics are the leading cause of death. They're also the leading cause of bankruptcy. And this is why. It's not because they use drugs. It's because they use drugs to suppress symptoms. You can use a drug to push the system back into balance, but the MDs don't do that. They have no idea how to do that. So, what do holistic physicians do? Well, here's what a holistic physician does. The system's in a state of balance and it doesn't have any symptoms. It's healthy. It experiences a stress, becomes destabilized, generates a symptom, rather than suppressing the symptom. A holistic physician delivers a therapeutic, the intention of which is to push the system back into a state of balance. And when the system is pushed back into a state of balance, the symptom disappears. Disappears. It must. This is what every holistic therapeutic attempts. Now, chiropractors attempt to push the system into balance through one particular mechanism. The adjustment of the spine and the normalization of the central nervous system. Traditional Chinese medical doctors and acupuncturists deliver therapeutics that have a different effect on the body, but the goal is the same, to push the system into a state of balance. Homeopathy attempts to push the system into a state of balance. Holistic medical nutrition attempts to push the system into a state of balance. Herbal medicine attempts to push the system into a state of balance. Every single solitary, sophisticated, practical, effective type of medicine in the world works with the human body. The MDs work against it. And because they are clueless about this, they're like children playing with hand grenades. You're going to die. But before you die, you're going to suffer and go bankrupt. And then you're going to die. Meanwhile, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of pain and suffering. Can't sleep through the night without your meds. Can't wake up in the morning without your meds. Don't have any energy. Can't make it through the day. Have to walk through the supermarket on crutches or a hover round. Can't even walk down the damn aisle of the church. Need a medication for your heart. Need a medication for your lungs. Need a medication for your bladder. You're peeing your bed 3 times a night. You're 55 years old and you're peeing the bed. You've got to be kidding me. So, in addition to death and bankruptcy, we've got all this unbelievably horrible quality of life stuff going on. All the time, brought to you by Bus Driver MD. Because their therapeutics have a juvenile philosophy upon which they're built. And because they're in the monopoly, nobody questions their incompetence. Nobody. For goodness sake, Vioxx killed 500,000 people, and where's the public outrage? Did anybody go to jail? Anybody? Anybody? No. Now, if your next door neighbor came over and killed your dog, he'd go to jail, right? But when your medical doctor kills your, father, nothing happens. This is because we've all drunk the Kool-Aid. No kidding. And the most important thing here to understand is why I advise people to fire their MD. It's not because I'm mean-spirited. It's not because I'm vindictive. It's not because, an MD stole my high school girlfriend and I've never forgiven him for that. It's got nothing to do with anything that has anything to do with anything other than the simple fact of the matter that MD therapeutics are juvenile, old-fashioned, outdated, and completely inconsistent with what it really means to be a human being. The MDs have thrown the baby out with the bathwater in their genuflection at the altar of reductionism. And by the way, this is also why the MDs are really, really good at surgery. Because surgery is the epitome of reductionism, right? You have a bullet in your arm, heaven forbid. That's reductionism. You need a surgical technique to go into the arm and not mess anything up, pull the bullet out and stitch up the wound and make sure nothing gets infected. That's reductionism. Your bone is split in 6 pieces. You need the reductionist to architecturally put it all back together. That's reductionism. That's why the biggest advances in medicine in the last 100 years have been in the surgical theater. The stuff that an MD can do with surgery now is really awesome, but when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, so whether you need surgery or not, the MD is going to think you need surgery because that's all they know. It's not because they use drugs. It's not because they resort to surgery that we recommend people fire their MDs. It's how they use the drug and their abject misunderstanding of the human body. I mean, really, the metaphor that I keep coming back to, because I haven't found a better one, is they're like colorblind art critics or colorblind artists, right? But they don't know they're colorblind. If you hired a colorblind artist to do a family portrait, you would not be surprised if the portrait sucked. All the colors were wrong because they're colorblind. They don't even, looks good to them, looks horrible to you. This is the problem. Your MD, by virtue of their philosophical training, their understanding, or lack thereof, of how the human body works, makes them the most dangerous profession on the planet. And this is why, unless you're bleeding to death, unless you really do need surgery, unless you're suffering from some nasty infectious disease, like pneumonia, you need to fire your MD. Because if you do not, you're going to suffer, go bankrupt, and die. Stick around. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Finally getting to this phones today. Wyoming is up first with Jay. Hey, Jay, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, I've been... are you still on?
Yeah, you're in. You're in, buddy. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. I got a bit of static there. Okay, I'm paying attention to the news and with all these immigrants coming over. And I've asked I'm a part of the longevity team, and I've been on the products for months, and I've been watching your webinars and learning a whole lot. And I asked my upline about, these immigrants that come over, and there's reports of TB and scabies and, what's that other skin disease? The leprosy. And I asked her if there was any webinars on that stuff, and she said, "Well, that would be a really good one, for you to do."
Well, it would be a good one for me to do, but let me just kind of cut right to the chase here, because there's this, and this kind of opens up a can of worms, but it's an interesting thing to talk about, right? Back in the days of Louis Pasteur, Louis Pasteur was the first guy to discover the fact that there were these little invisible organisms that were causative in the generation of disease, right? The tuberculinum bacterium and, the little, you can see the scabies, little creature. But yeah, leprosy, right? It's caused by a bacterial infection. So when Pasteur discovered that there were these little bugs, that caused disease, that were related to the genesis of disease, there was a big controversy in his day. There were 2 basic camps of understanding, and Pasteur was of and his followers were of the position that the bug is the thing and the environment of the body is irrelevant. There was a whole nother group of people led by another Frenchman named Beauchamp. And their view was that it's the environment of the body that's everything, and if the environment of the body is strong enough, then the bug is not going to find any place to feed and breed, right? Kind of like if you had a pond in your backyard and the pond was healthy, and there was moving water in the pond, and good water in and bad water out, or a stream, right? No stagnant water. There's going to be no mosquitoes, because mosquitoes breed in stagnant water, and there might be a trillion, gazillion, gigamillion mosquitoes in the world. But because they only breed in stagnant water, if there's no stagnant water around you, there's going to be no mosquitoes around you, right? So now, of course, the pharmaceutical industry loved Pasteur, because his position was, look, it's the bug, and so everything that the conventional medical system has done is try to develop treatments to kill the bug, right? Which is kind of like, flying over the stagnant water and dropping napalm on it to kill all the mosquitoes, rather than fix the pond so that there's fresh water in it, no more standing water. I mean, that's a smarter idea. But so everything that is happening with infectious disease for the last 200 years has been forwarded by the pharmaceutical industry, the intention of which is to kill the bug, right? They have no understanding whatsoever about the importance of the health of the organism. Now, interestingly enough, on Pasteur's deathbed, he recanted his position, and he said it's not the bug, it's the environment of the body. Well, his words, it was the terrain. He said the terrain is everything. So, from our point of view, when you are eliminating the 10 bad foods, and so there's limited extracurricular stress happening to the body every day, when your body is filled to the brim with 90 essential nutrients appropriate for your body weight every single day, when you're salting your food and eating adequate amounts of protein and getting adequate amounts of water and air and exercise, your body's healthy. And it's going to take a nasty-ass bug in order to break through your defenses and make you sick. Or if you do get sick, you're going to recover in half the time that your neighbor who's eating all the wrong stuff all the time and who's running on nutrient fumes will. So in this case, it's not so much the bug as it is the health of your body. Maximize the health of your body, and you're going to have very little to worry about. No kidding. Just maintain your discipline, and thank God for Dr. Wallach. Lynn in Mississippi is up at the top of the second hour. Check out the live stream, thedrgliddenshow.tv. I think I just saw Bigfoot. Oh my God. Bigfoot, ladies and gentlemen, he's real. You know what they say, M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I, and that's right, M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. Let's go down there and talk to Lynn. Hey, Lynn, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Kathy from Pennsylvania, 8-year-old girl, never talked.
Hello. Can't hear
Hello.
you. There you are, Lynn. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
Pretty good, but I think there's a radio or something playing in the background. I'm getting two signals
It's
here.
Dr. Glidden.
Well,
I'll
you got to
turn it off.
All right, turn that off.
Okay, I was watching him on video too, on the,
Good girl.
the webinar.
Well, you can continue to watch us on the video. I just don't want to get any feedback. So what's happening down there in MISSISSIPPI?
Well, his name is Jesus, and I'm listening to Dr. Glidden right here where y'all are, right here in Clinton, Mississippi, and I'm looking forward to him telling me about, my friend has ischemia, white matter brain disease, and von Willebrand's.
Yeah, okay. So these are kind of two arms of the same octopus. So this is happening because the ischemia is happening because, and by the way, that's fancy schmancy doctor talk for no blood flow, right? It's no blood flow.
Really?
Yeah. So ischemia happens anywhere in the body when there's funky blood flow. It's one of the causes of gangrene, right? And this is what diabetics get gangrene in their extremities because their blood vessels get all messed up. Kind of like, when the Mississippi, floods or gets a beaver builds a dam across the river, and the river backs up and downstream from there's no water and everything dries up. Well, that's kind of what it's like. So inquiring minds, and you would think that your MD would posit the question, well, what on earth is causing the blood flow, in my legs or in my brain or anywhere? And what's causing the blood flow to get stopped? I mean, what's building the dam? What's causing the blood flow to get funky? They're clueless about it. They have no idea about it whatsoever. And more's the pity. They don't want to know what's causing it. And, these are the people that we give hard-earned money to gain access to in the form of medical insurance premiums. It's a crying shame. So, yes, ma'am. So from our point of view, we need to support, in any type of ischemia, we need to support the circulatory system, right? We need to do that. And we do that by supporting, interestingly enough, the fire department of the body. And most people don't know that the body has a fire department. Everybody knows, right? The body has a police department. That's the immune system. But the body also has a fire department that it uses to put out the fires of inflammation. And the fires of inflammation can pop up anywhere in the body, especially if you unwittingly eat food that causes inflammation. Now, I want you to fasten your seatbelt, sit down, and put a heavy weight on top of your head, because your head's about to pop off your shoulders right now.
You already made my computer jump up and praise you. It keeps going crazy because you're on. It's why I'm serious.
The main cause of inflammation in the body is fried food.
Okay.
Fried food. I don't even want this guy to be downwind of fried food. No more fried nothing, man. I don't even want him to stir-fried rice. I don't want to, and in addition to that, I want him to throw out all of the oil that he has in his pantry. No more oil in a bottle, no more olive oil, no more salad dressing, no more vegetable oil, no more peanut oil, no more coconut oil, no more oil of any shape or form. Zero tolerance for oil, zero tolerance for fried food. Now,
but that means she can have butter. Her name is Mary.
Butter, you bet. Butter, as much of it as she wants. Lots and lots and lots and lots of butter. And if she wants to cook up, a piece of fish in the fry pan, she can use lard. She can use butter. No problem. Cook it on low heat with lard or butter. She wants to scramble eggs in the morning. No problem. Cook it with lard or butter. We don't have any problem with lard. We don't have any problem with butter. But she must avoid oil and fried food like the freaking plague, okay? Now,
okay, I wrote it down.
Oil and fried food are 2 of the 10 bad foods. Now, there are 8 other foods she needs also to avoid, but specifically because of the genesis of this disease in her body, she really needs to avoid oil and fried food. But she would be well advised to also eliminate the other of the 10 bad foods. And, you can get that list for free on my website, okay?
Okay.
drglidden.com. There are 10 foods that everybody needs to stop eating yesterday. Zero tolerance for the 10 bad foods. All right. Now, once she's got that handled, she needs to support the fire department of the body. So by eliminating those foods, it will cut down on the fires that are happening inside her body. Right. It's kind of like arresting the kids, in the country that are making the campfires. Right. So we just got to stop the campfires, and that's going to cut down on the forest fires. But we also need to give the fire department the stuff that it needs to put out the fires if they ever do pop up. And so we need nutrition to do that. And the sad fact of the matter is that, and I honestly don't know why this isn't taught in the schools, because we've known this for about 65 years. It's impossible for anybody's body to get all of the stuff that it needs to have a healthy immune system, healthy heart, healthy bones, healthy ligaments, healthy fire department. It's impossible to get the nutrients that our bodies need to maintain their strength just from eating food. You can't do it. It's impossible. Everybody needs to supplement. And unless you supplement, it's only a matter of time until something breaks, and then, something's broken, you have an active disease, you go to the MD, they have no training in nutrition, they have no idea what causes the disease, and they just throw drugs at you to suppress your symptoms.
Because I've asked them.
This
and
is why.
They said, I don't know about the natural stuff. I only know about prescription.
Well, then that's right. And what would be a better question to ask them is, you're the lords of the castle, of medicine. You're the Pope of medicine. What causes von Willebrand's disease? I want to know what causes it. And they
I never
won't.
even heard of it.
Yeah, well, they don't know, is my point. They don't know. They don't even know what causes heartburn. But they don't know what causes heartburn. You think they're going to be able to tell you what causes von Willebrand's disease? No.
No.
And this is a gigantic problem because, we've taken the idiot to the prom, and then we wonder why we're having such a lousy time. Well, because your date's an idiot. I mean, that's why. So, in order to support and promote a healthy central nervous system and give the fire department support, here's what we need to do. How much does Mary weigh?
Now, I don't know, but not over 150 looking at her.
All right. So then I'm going to treat it like it's a 200-pound person because she needs... This is some pretty big, bad voodoo daddy stuff, right? So it's better to err on the side of overdoing it here than it is underdoing it.
Okay.
So the recommendation would be 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. 2 healthy brain and heart packs. 2 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, Selenium.
I know. I believe in that. How many did you say? I'm sorry. I got
2.
excited because you said selenium.
2.
2?
That makes you the smartest woman in Mississippi. Yep, 2 of those. 1 bottle of Immortalium, please. 1 bottle of Immortalium. And I'd also like her to take 2 digestive enzymes. 2 digestive enzymes. And now, after the second month, she can stop the digestive enzymes if she wants, but I want her to have digestive enzymes for a couple of months. Now, I want her to go crazy for cholesterol. I want her to become the cholesterol queen of Mississippi. I want her to have butter, full-fat milk, full-fat yogurt, full-fat cheese, no more skim, no more 2%. I want her to eat the chicken skin, throw the chicken away. I want her to eat meat rare, medium rare. I want her to salt her food so that it tastes good. And I want her to become the cholesterol queen of Mississippi. Now, the easiest, most economical way to get cholesterol into your body is the lowly chicken egg. In a perfect world, I'd have her eat six eggs a day. 6 eggs a day. Now, if she can't do that, then do as much as she can and then, get cholesterol from other sources like chicken, meat, cooked rare, butter, the drill. So yes. cholesterol, and then some more cholesterol. The Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, the selenium, the Immortalium, and the digestive enzymes. Eliminate the 10 bad foods and have her keep a little diary of the symptoms that she's bothered by every day. And this would be important for her to do because she probably has 10 or 15 things that are bothering her every day, like restless legs, inability to sleep, a little bit of heartburn, whatever. She needs to write everything down and once a week give each of her symptoms a grade from 0 to 10. Right? 10 being, shoot me now, it's so bad, and 0 being it's completely gone. And if once a week she grades each of her symptoms, she'll have a nice little chart of her progression over time. Because the human mind is a funny thing. We forget things that were bothering us once they're gone. So,
we do, don't we? That's right.
We do. And it's important for her to maintain the discipline with this program because it's going to take her, months, if not years, for her to get on the other side of this completely. It's important that she sees she has an objective measurement of her improvement, right?
Right. Did you say it would take years? Is that what you said?
Well, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but it might. The old-time naturopaths. Well, yeah, the naturopaths, the old-timers said, as kind of a ballpark guesstimate, once you get on board with the right program, it takes approximately 1 month for every year that you've had the condition to get on the other side of it, right? So if she's had this for 20 years, she should expect a 20-month program, right? But it's kind of 1 month for every year that she's had the condition, to get on the other side of it completely. But inside of that time frame, she should be experiencing, if we're doing our job correctly, improvement along the way. It's kind of like watching a flower grow, right? You know, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, and then we're in the middle of a garden, and life is awesome. Check that out, Lynn. Give her a heads up on that and have her call us back every couple of weeks with a report. And thank you for taking a stand for the health of another human being. That's how we roll. Steadfast advocate for health. Looks like MISSISSIPPI is in the house. Is this Mary calling? Hey, Mary, thanks for the call. Did you hear what I just told your friend?
I did. Yes.
All right. Yeah, we were talking about you, but there's one. I'm glad that you called because there's one other thing I forgot to add to the program. Okay.
Okay.
It's the Ultimate Daily Capsules. Ultimate Daily Capsules.
Okay.
So basically what we're doing is three things here. We're helping the fire department of your body to put out the fires of inflammation, which cause the blood vessels to get clogged up in the first place, right?
Right.
Number two, we're supporting and promoting the health of your blood vessels because they need help, right? Because they've been in trouble. They've been inflamed for a while. Number three, we're giving your entire brain and central nervous system and, quite frankly, the rest of your body nutritional support because from the holistic perspective, everything's connected. And then, most importantly, we're eliminating food that's gumming up the works, right? I mean, if you had a little fire in your backyard and three times a day you went out there and threw gasoline on it, that wouldn't be a good idea, right?
Nope. It wouldn't.
So that's all you need to do. Give it a try. Usually 90 days is enough for people to experience a noticeable and measurable positive change. Just be mindful of how this stuff makes you feel, and once we secure positive change, we just ride that horse until everything comes around.
I mean, is it really possible to get over a bleeding condition?
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I mean, we see it happen all the time. Now I want to make a distinction here, okay? You know, there is a point beyond which the body can't fix itself, right? I mean, for instance, there's no therapy that I'm aware of that can grow back a finger that's been cut off, right? Maybe there is, but I'm not aware of it.
Right.
And you would not believe the things that we've seen people recover from with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. You wouldn't believe it. And if you stick around with us long enough, the testimonials that you'll hear will bring you to tears. Now, I don't know how far gone your central nervous system is. I have no idea. Your medical doctor has no idea. The only person who knows that is God, right? So here's what I do know. I know that from the naturopathic point of view, the holistic medical nutrition point of view, the things that are causing this are still happening in your body unless and until you modify your diet and support your body's fire department, right?
Okay, right.
So whether or not we're able to get anything back, I don't know. But I do know we can stop any further damage, and I do know that your heart and your lungs and your kidney and your spleen and your skin and your hair and your nails and everything else in your body also needs medical nutrition. So ultimately, this program is like Never Fail Fudge because you need it, you're going to respond to it, and the degree of improvement that you get is, anybody's guess, but you have absolutely nothing to lose here by getting on board with the program. And that's why I think it's important to keep a symptom survey because, this is a holistic program, right? This is a Mary from Mississippi program. And we expect there to be kind of broad strokes across the board, mood, energy, sleep, appetite, everything should be affected here. So just be mindful of everything moving downstream, see what happens, and keep us in the loop.
Oh, gosh. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad to have found your products.
Well, I appreciate the trust, and more importantly, I appreciate your open-mindedness, because a lot of people just don't have either of those, and hence the biblical referendum. My people are destroyed.
Right. I have 6 siblings, and they think I'm Mary, quite contrary.
Well,
I have just been told that by a sister who's got pulmonary hypertension and scleroderma and breathing problems. So,
well, you can't fix stupid, right? Right. Yeah. And just remember, not everybody got on the ark, right? I mean, they had the chance, they had the opportunity, they didn't do it. It's a free country, more or less. So, don't worry about the naysayers. Just get on board with the program and let the proof of the pudding be in the eating. You're awesome. Keep up the good work. I appreciate the trust. Stick around, folks. Very much more to come. You think healing's a sophisticated and complicated process that can only happen in multi-million-dollar high-tech facilities? Well, you've drunk the Kool-Aid, and Big Pharma has you exactly where they want you to be. Surgery is a complicated, sophisticated process that, in the best of all circumstances, should only happen in multi-million-dollar, as high-tech facility as you can get. Healing is easy. Why? Because your body knows how to fix itself, your body wants to fix itself, your body is attempting all of the time to fix itself, directed by the divine wisdom inside your body. Period. Look, your body grew itself all by itself from a single-celled organism into you. If you cut your hand, do you have to tell your immune system how to fix it? No. If you eat a banana, do you have to tell your digestive system how to digest it and assimilate it and get rid of it? No. It happens all by itself. Do you have to tell your pancreas where to send the insulin? Do you have to tell the insulin how to attach to the cell walls? Do you have to tell all of the biochemical processes inside of all the trillions of cells in your body what to do? No. All of this is happening all of the time, outside of your conscious awareness and outside of your conscious control. Now, if this does not make you believe in an intelligent force beyond the comprehension of the human mind, I don't know what to tell you. In point of fact, everything that's happening in your body is being directed by the spiritual force that's inside your body. Whatever it is that brings light to the eyes of the living, and which leaves, ever watch somebody die? The light leaves their eyes. What's up with that? Well, what brings light to your dreams? I don't want to go down this road. But look, give your body a chance to prove to you how awesome it is. You wouldn't put diesel fuel into an unleaded engine and expect the car to run good, would you? Well, stop eating food that's gumming up the works. Eliminate the 10 bad foods and tune your body up with the appropriate health pack and the appropriate dosage for your body weight. Give it 90 days to produce results. Damn the torpedoes. Tom in Tennessee is up next. Hey, Tom, thanks for hanging on. You are live.
Hey, Dr. Gladden. I just had one lady I'm working with here. I just wanted to ask a question, and then another couple things I wanted to ask you. But she's been on the products now for a couple months and doing real well. But in the past, prior to longevity, she had her thyroid taken out.
Ouch.
And they've got her on medication. They tell her she's going to have to be on for the basically the rest of her life. I believe it's Synthroid.
Yep.
And her question was, is there any alternative to that? Is that necessary? Or, what's the scoop on that?
Okay, well, some interesting things happened. I was just talking to a patient the other day. She had her thyroid removed 10 years ago, and the right lobe of the thyroid grew back because they botched the surgery, right? It grew back. So, if they did the surgery correctly and there's no more thyroid and it hasn't grown back, then she's going to need to be on meds. But there's a very interesting thing that happened a number of years ago inside the wonderful world of Big Pharma, right? There's a number of different companies, right, that make drugs, and there's competition amongst them. And the company that made Synthroid generated a public relations campaign against their main competitor, which was a company that made a natural thyroid product called Armour Thyroid. Armour Thyroid was made from desiccated, purified, and standardized animal thyroid glands, bovine, cow thyroid, and pig thyroid gland, right? They would extract thyroid hormones from these animals, purify it, quantify it, and put it in a little capsule. It was called Armour Thyroid. Armour Thyroid gave 2 thyroid hormones to the human body, thyroid hormone 3 and thyroid hormone 4. And this is a nice little recipe for the human body. Synthroid only gives thyroid hormone 4. Synthroid only gives thyroid hormone 4. So, because Armour Thyroid was a competitor of Synthroid, Synthroid sent reps to all of the MDs in the world saying, oh, you really shouldn't rely on Armour Thyroid because you're never sure of the dose because it all comes from animals, and that was just complete malarkey. It was incorrect information. So, because of a pretty savvy public relations campaign, or should I say a physician's relation campaign, Armour Thyroid was stopped being prescribed by physicians, and Synthroid is everywhere all the time now. So, in states in which I can prescribe Synthroid, when I have switched patients from Synthroid, and every patient with a thyroid problem in the world is on Synthroid because this is the MD's #1 go-to drug, because they're like little intellectual misfits, right? Your MD is like a little intellectual misfit. They only do what their friends do. They never question authority, and they never look to see if there's anything better they can do. They just toe the line and cash the check. That's all they do. So, long story short, the vast majority of the time that I switched patients from Synthroid back to Armour Thyroid, they felt better. Their quality of their life increased, their energy increased, their mood increased. It was a better experience on the Armour Thyroid than it was on the Synthroid. Now, there were a couple of patients that I've had that did not happen, and that they actually felt better on Synthroid. But, the numbers, the vast majority of people that I switched felt better. So, if people have had their thyroid completely removed and they're taking Synthroid, my advice is find a medical professional in your area that is willing to prescribe Armour Thyroid. Switch over to Armour Thyroid for 90 days, 3 months, and look to see if it increases your quality of life. Now, once that's happened, or even if it hasn't happened, the thyroid medications work in your body in the presence of vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and essential fatty acids. So when somebody is taking a prescription medication for a long time, it's burning through their nutrient reserves. And over time, the medication starts working less and less effectively, and then the MDs need to increase the dose, or they need to add a second or a third drug to just bring you back to where you were at the beginning. So when somebody is taking Synthroid, and they then get on board with our program, the Synthroid usually works better. So people need to be careful of having an overdose experience from Synthroid when they start medical nutrition, because if you do medical nutrition correctly and your body starts filling up its nutritional tank, all of a sudden the same dose of Synthroid that you took yesterday may produce 1.5 or 2 times as much of an effect as it on Tuesday because your body is now nutrified and it's able to metabolize the drug much more efficiently. And if the pharmaceutical industry was humane or humanitarian, they would put vitamins in with the drugs, but they don't, because if they did, you'd need less of the drug. You understand that? So
Yep.
It's a big bad voodoo daddy. So that's a really long-winded way, man, of saying it's my advice for anyone that's on Synthroid to find a physician that's willing to prescribe Armour Thyroid. Switch to Armour Thyroid for 90 days. See if you feel a difference. And whichever way you go, whether you do that or not, get on board with One Healthy Start Pack. I prefer the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form. That's a really cumbersome name, right? Healthy Body Start Pack Liquid, right? One of those, and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month, not to exceed more than 4 bottles of selenium a month. Everybody who's on Synthroid, if they did that program, they would feel better, because selenium is essential for T4 to become metabolized into T3, and the only place you can get selenium from is the food, but it's not in the food if it's not in the soil that the food's grown in, and it's not in the soil that the food's grown in. So everybody is selenium deficient, and when everybody takes a longevity product and they're on some type of thyroid med, it always works better. So now, I also did a really, what I think is a pretty good presentation of kind of the ABCs of thyroid health on my Insider webinar. So if you haven't checked it out already, become an insider. Go to drglidden.com, become an insider. It's $20 a month, and you'll have immediate access to over 100 hours of health webinars that I've done. And as a longevity distributor, if you become an insider, you can cut, copy, and paste the link of any of my webinars and email them to your prospects. So, here's what Dr. Glidden thinks about thyroid. Here, take a look at this. No extra charge, right? It's awesome. So that's the short answer. The longer answer is on my webinar, but that's what I would advise they do. That makes sense, right?
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate that. The other question I had is about a couple things here. One is this conversation that's come up with different folks, and one is about like the blood type diet. What's your opinion of that? What's the lowdown there?
Peter D'Adamo is a colleague of mine, and I asked Peter D'Adamo to write a foreword to the book that I wrote, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes, and he didn't do it. And he never told me why he didn't do it. So I have a little bit of an axe to grind personally with Dr. D'Adamo. Maybe it was a simple miscommunication. Maybe he just forgot. I don't know. But, I've known about the blood type diet for a long time. And I think there's some validity to the blood type diet. However, the blood type diet is not the answer to all human ills the way that Dr. D'Adamo purports it to be. The blood type diet will not, if you eat right for your blood type, and if that really is a real physiological thing, all that does is eliminate extracurricular stress from the human body, right? Because if you eat food that's inappropriate for your body, then you have a net negative effect of that, right? There's more harm comes out of that than there is good. But even if your diet is 100% perfect and clean and awesome, you're going to be nutritionally deficient, period. Because all of the nutrients, the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to operate the way that nature and God intended them to, the nutrition that we need is not in the food. So even if your diet is hunky-dory 100%, you're going to be sick because you're nutritionally deficient. So my advice to people when it comes to dietary discipline is let the proof of the pudding be in the eating. So, once you've eliminated the 10 bad foods that I recommend, and once you've filled your body's nutritional tank up with the appropriate healthy pack, and you've done that for 90 days, 3 months in a row, then you can start to mess around with other diets. Go on the Atkins diet for 3 months and see how you feel. Go on the blood type diet for 3 months and see how you feel. Ultimately, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I think there's validity in the D'Adamo blood type diet, but when it must be combined with medical nutrition, or it's going to fail, because no matter how clean your diet is, you're going to be nutritionally deficient, and that's the long and the short of it. Appreciate you, Tom. Good questions. That makes you the smartest man in Tennessee. Stick around, folks. Clinton from Minneapolis is up next. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. I'm as serious as a heart attack when I say that. Hey, here we come. Over the hill to the rescue. Longevity Nation. Let's go to Minneapolis and finish it out with Clinton. Hey, Clinton, thanks for the call. You are live.
How you doing today, Dr. Glidden?
I'm great, but I'll get better, God willing, and the creek don't rise. What's going on with you?
Okay, I'm doing great, and this is my questions. We had I'm working with somebody, and she pretty much has a lot of issues going on, and some of the issues that's going on with her is that she has sickle cell traits, she has glaucoma, she has digestive and constipation issues, dry eyes, dry skin, dry throat, feeling tired all the time, peeing all the time, and she's feeling like she isn't absorbing her water correctly. And so I'm going to leave the ball in your court, and I'm just going to listen.
Well, is she Republican?
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I just lost half my audience. Oh, well, that's how it goes. Just for the record, Dr. Glidden is neither a Democrat nor a Republican. I poke fun at both parties because you know what? They deserve it. So in any event, what we do to support so she needs nutritional support across the board, right? Whenever we see
absolutely
a sickle cell or a sickle cell trait, then we have to support proper blood production. And we support proper blood health by supporting the bones, because in the marrow of the bones is where the blood is made. So she would benefit in this regard from the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. One Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form, one of those, 2 selenium, and 2 liquid glucogel plus per 100 pounds of body weight per month. For the dryness in the eyes, I would give her the Ultimate Daily capsules, in order to increase circulation in the eye. That can also be due to a lack of vitamin A like apple, but there should be enough vitamin A like apple in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine sufficient to that cause. So the Healthy Body Start... Go ahead.
What about the glaucoma, too?
Yeah, the glaucoma, we support eye health with selenium and the Ultimate Daily capsules.
Okay.
Selenium and the Ultimate Daily capsules. Now, once all that's handled, right, the only other thing she needs to educate herself about and get on board with is antioxidant intake, right? And, you know, antioxidants are measured by their ORAC value. Mm-hmm. The recommendation for her would be 100,000 ORAC a day of antioxidants, 100,000 a day. Now, you know, she's going to get some from the supplements. She can get the rest through food and through drink. Green tea is loaded with antioxidants. Cinnamon is loaded with antioxidants. Curry powder, cayenne pepper, red wine, dark-skinned fruits are loaded with antioxidants. But if that's just too much of a pain in the neck, then she can use the Triple Treat chocolate. Because one piece of Triple Treat chocolate has, like, what is it, 19,000 ORAC, right? That's huge, man. One piece, it's loaded with antioxidant value.
Would that also help with the constipation, too?
No. Well, not specifically. But what's going to help with constipation is eliminating the 10 bad foods. Anytime you see anybody with any digestive issue, and I don't care what it is, I don't care if it's constipation, gas, diarrhea, GERD, esophageal reflux, irritable bowels, celiac disease, Crohn's disease, I don't care what it is. The first, second, and third thing to do is to stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats.
Got you.
That's it. Now,
got you on that. And I want to say something real funny, too, along with that. You know, the Beyond Osteo in the liquid and the powder, for me, I'm going to tell you, that name should be changed from Beyond Osteo to called Beyond Regular, because there's something in that just makes me just constantly, every time I use it, just flow.
Well, all right, so you want to cut down on the dosage because you're taking too concentrated a dose too quickly. So you want to take the appropriate amount, like 1 ounce per 100 pounds per day, but you want to dilute that, drink it more slowly, maybe drink, 4 doses of it instead of 2. I understand what you're saying. Whenever you get an experience like that, it's because we're taking too concentrated a dose too quickly. I did a whole webinar about that for insiders. It's called Maximizing the Absorption of Your Supplements. Check it out, Clinton. You rock. Wish we had more time. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your steadfast advocate for health. Live long and prosper.